Tuesdays and Thursdays are training and coaching, masterminding. If you have something that you want to talk about, come ready to go because we'll pick it up and just go with it. Nathan and Larry, thank you for Tuesday. You guys provided great content for us. And if not, I've always got something ready for you guys, so we're good with that. So welcome to Survive to Thrive. Happy Thursday, everybody. And before I share what I have for you today, if anybody has something they need help with or something they want to talk about, we'll take one. And oh, I shouldn't have said that because you're not going to talk. I'll take all of them. Just chat, just take yourself off mute and talk to me. And here we go. Nathan, I called it. All right, I'm good. So is Joanne here today? I don't see her. And a little bit of what is the word I'm looking for? A little bit of accountability. Holy cow, I can't believe I couldn't find that word. I asked everybody in our group yesterday, I reminded you guys to email me, coachjohndietz@gmail.com, what you've done so far 2 weeks into the year in order to hit your goals for the year. And Joanne sent me an email immediately. I'm still waiting for everybody else. All right, let's go to the whiteboard. Turn this so I'm on camera. There we go. All right. So we have 83 million homeowners in the United States. In 2023, there were roughly 4 million homes sold, which means approximately 5%. 5% of everybody who owned a home moved in 2023. Now, just for comparison, that number was 6.2 million in 2021. So that's a bunny trail and it's a shift. You're seeing the number of real estate transactions go from a red hot market in 2021 of 6.2 million homes sold, which by the way, was the most number of homes sold in a year since 2005. Now you should pay attention to that because history repeats itself. And for all of you who are a real estate agent back in 2005, what happened 2008 through 2012? All right. Am I saying that's going to happen again? No, I'm not. Am I saying it could happen? Yes, absolutely 100%. All right, let's go back to this conversation. So we've got 83 million homeowners in the US, 4 million homes were sold in 2023, which is about 5% of the homeowners. Now, if I asked you, where do most real estate agents focus the most amount of their time? Is it on the 4 million homes that are being sold, or is it on the 83 million homeowners? I'll answer it for you. It's the 4 million homes being sold. And what should it be? It should be 83 million homeowners in the United States. In other words, build your database, focus on building your business through your database, your CRM. So let's talk about the 4 rules of a database. Number 1, build a database, which means if you don't have a database, KB Core, Chime, for example, if you don't have a database, you need to start by building your database. You're going to take the list of everybody that you know, everybody who knows you, likes you, and would potentially do business with you, and you need to add them to your database. They're going to go right here. They're going to go in here as a sphere of influence. If you've been a real estate agent for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, then you have past clients. So anybody that has bought a home or sold a home with you would go right here as a past client. So the first rule of building a successful real estate business using your database for repeat and referral business is build a database. The second rule is feed it every day. Now that means that I am systematically adding people that I don't know, people out here called habit Mets. and I am systematically adding habit mets to my database every day. They're going in here as a new met. Now, standards. I have a standard of working 250 days a year. That's 50 weeks times 5 days, 250 days. And I have a standard of 10 conversations every day. In other words, I'm going to talk to 10 people every day. It's a real estate conversation. Now, if it's to one of these habit mets, here's your script. Let's say you're knocking doors on and you're circle prospecting around a home that just sold in a neighborhood, and you're knocking doors with a circle prospecting script. Hello, my name is John Dietz. I'm a real estate agent with Blank Real Estate Company. The reason I popped by today is a home in your neighborhood down the street, right down the road, Bob and Sally's house, just sold. It sold for $800,000, which is awesome news. And there are still buyers who are looking for great homes like yours. Who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? Now, they respond with, I can't think of anybody right now. Your response is, thank you for taking a moment to think about that. Before I go, I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. Friends and family members, it's a special group, and we're going to invite them to be a part of this group. Okay, so I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. That simply means that I'm going to send them interesting information on the real estate market once a month, and I'm going to call every 2 or 3 months. Would it be okay if I add you to that group? It's not a list, so cross that word out. Would it be okay if I added you to that group? Now, when you hear, sure, of course, I'd love that. That's a new met. Now, what you need is you need name, phone number, address, email address. So you're simply going to ask them, what's the best email address to send those updates to? By the way, if I wanted to call you, what's your phone number? Now, you've already got their address. You're standing in front of their home. And you introduced yourself, they introduced themselves, so you've got their name. Now you're going to add them to your database as a new met. Build a database, feed it every day. The third rule is communicate with your database in a systematic way. Now, the way that we're going to communicate with new mets systematically is called an 8 by 8. Concept was created by this marketing company, Hobbs Herder. What they did is they did a test in a neighborhood where they mailed a postcard to every single mailbox in the neighborhood once a week for 8 weeks. That's an 8 by 8. It's one contact per week for 8 weeks. They mailed a postcard to every mailbox once a week for 8 weeks. Now, what that postcard did is it was marketing a real estate agent, their name, their picture, their brand, so that every homeowner in that neighborhood was getting a postcard with that real estate agent's name, phone number, picture, brand. In other words, they're creating top of mind. Now, they followed that up by calling everybody in the neighborhood and asking a simple question. The question was, if you were to sell your home, do you have a real estate agent you would hire? More than half of the homeowners in the neighborhood named the real estate agent on the postcard. Now, here's the really cool part about this. The agent on the postcard did not exist. It was a test. So half this neighborhood was going to hire a real estate agent who doesn't even exist. Now, you exist. So when you do this, you're creating top of mind, and the 8th contact is a phone call. And what you're going to ask them on the 8th week is, hey, Crystal, it's been awesome getting to know you. I hope you've enjoyed the information that I'm sending you. Hopefully you're finding it helpful. And I have one question. If you were to buy a home or sell a home, or if you knew somebody was going to buy a home or sell a home, would you possibly, make sure you add that word, because without the word possibly, it's a different result. Would you possibly work with me? Would you possibly refer them to me? Now, when they say yes, you're moving them from a new Met into your sphere of influence. So let's just say that you start out with 100 contacts in your sphere of influence. Now you create a daily standard of 10 conversations. It's 2,500 conversations a year. And you also have a daily standard of adding one new Met to your database. That's plus 250. And let's say half of them. And on the 8th week, say, sure, of course I would work with you. By the way, it's going to be better than 50%, but let's just stick with that. That means you've added 125 contacts to your sphere of influence. So now you have 225 contacts, people, relationships in your sphere of influence. All right, back to communicate with it in a systematic way. The way we're going to communicate with our sphere of influence and our past clients is called a 36 touch. All right, it's a combination of emails, text messages, postcards, newsletters, mail holiday cards 4 times a year. You know their birthday, send them a birthday card, and you're calling once every quarter. It is a care call. It's not a sales call. I'm following the Ford model of communication, which means family, occupation, recreation, dreams. So I call Angela. Hey, Angela, John Dietz. Been a couple months since we spoke. Just want to check in with you. How's your family? Now, I know Angela because I've been speaking to her for a year, 2 years, 3 years. I know her spouse's name. I know the kid's name. I know the dog's name. I know the cat's name. I know her favorite restaurant. I know that she went on vacation 2 months ago and they took a cruise to the Bahamas. All right, cool. So, Crystal, how's Bob? How's Sally? And let's see, who's the boy's name? Nathan. There you go, Nathan. Put you in the call. So, how's Sally and Nathan? I think last time we talked, Nathan was trying out for the baseball team. I'm sure he made the team. How's the season going? Hey, by the way, that cruise to the Bahamas, did you guys have a great time? What was your favorite part? Having a conversation, right? And building relationships, right? I'm also going to ask her, is there anything I can do for you today? Do you have any questions about any of the market updates that I've sent you? And before I go, who do you know that's thinking of selling in the next 6 months? Now, Angela was at a party yesterday in the neighborhood. One of the neighbors said they're going to sell their home. And she says, wow, I can't believe you called. Your timing is amazing. I was just talking to my neighbor. They're going to put their home on the market. Here's their number. Now, if I didn't call her, is Angela going to run home after that party and say, I need to call John. I need to tell John that the neighbor's going to sell their home? No, she's not thinking about me. She's not thinking about you. But when you call, you are getting referrals because you're simply communicating with people in a systematic way. It's easy. All right. 4 laws of working your database for repeat and referral business. By the way, that's this conversation over here. We're focused on the 83 million homeowners, not 4 million homes that sold. Build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic way, service all the leads that come your way. Now, if 5% of the US population is moving every year, then it makes sense that 5% of your database is as well. And if I looked at the total number that we have a year later, it's 225. If I took 225 and I multiplied it by 5%, that's going to be roughly, let's see, 22, half of that is 11. Let's go with 12. That's 12 sales. If my average commission is $10,000, that's $120,000 that I earned without making one cold call, without calling a for sale by owner, without calling an expired listing. I'm building a successful real estate business by focusing on the top of the funnel, not the bottom of the funnel. Now, here's a really cool thing. That's just the number of people who are going to move. That's just the number of people who could work with you. You're going to get another 5% return on referrals. In other words, you're getting referrals. When you ask, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home in the next 6 months? So it's not really 12 sales, it's 24 sales. It's not 120,000, it's 240,000. It works. Only when you work. All right, take yourself off mute, talk to me.
John, early in my career, I had a seasoned agent that came to our office, and she was she was a force. I mean, her presence was, I was like brand new, and just when she walked in the room, you could just feel just her authority. But she was very kind, and she said something during the time, and I dismissed what she said at the time, like most agents do, and rookie agents, they tend to not listen. But she said to me, Nathan, she said to the group, get in the habit of writing personal handwritten note cards.
Yes.
And so my silly manliness was like, I'm not writing no cards. And years went by and I still didn't write no cards. Finally, one day, the light bulb really turned on. And I still remember that time with her. And I got into writing personal note cards. And the response that I get from people that received my personal handwritten note card is like beyond measure.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you know what? I went to Hawaii last year and I took time and I wrote personal note cards to 36 of my past clients. I actually wrote them out before I left. It's a strategy that I wrote them out before I left. And then when I got to Hawaii, I still need to do a few more. And I just wrote like how I was in Hawaii and I was just sharing with them. I mean, the response that I got from that was just off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say just a little, everything you're saying is spot on. It's just that after you speak to anybody, send them immediately a handwritten note card about your experience with them at that time.
Mm-hmm. Nathan, thank you, because I forgot that part. It's there. And I've practiced that for years. I first learned about writing personal notes from Zig Ziglar many years ago when he was sharing the story of Joe Girard, who, if you look in the Guinness Book of World Records, had set the record for the most cars sold in a year. And this guy was selling like 10 cars a day. It was a ridiculous number. He didn't have floor time. He called past clients. Who do you know that's in the market to buy a car? And he sent 20 handwritten personal notes every single day. That was it. That was his strategy. And I thought, if that works in car sales, I think it might work in real estate too. And sure enough, it does. So Nathan, thank you for sharing that. Awesome. And as always, you bring so much value to the call. Thank you for being here. Angela, talk to me.
So first of all, this is my first week in real estate. I'm being, my mentor's Kathy Haynes.
Okay.
And so my question is, I actually live in my childhood home, and I've seen the neighborhood change, and it's really changing now. All the owners that were here with my parents are now leaving, and a younger generation is coming in. So the last time I went around to any of their doors was trick-or-treating with my kids who are now teenagers. So it's been a long time. So how do I, what kind of response do you get from people when you go to the door? And what would you recommend me doing being new and trying to get out there? I'm just looking for that kind of feedback.
So the answer to the first question, what kind of response do you get? Some good, not some not so good. Who cares next? First of all, that's the answer to the question. And if my goal is adding one new person to my database every day, and I'm talking to 10 people, somebody's going to say, sure, I'd love to be a part of that group. All right. So my advice to you, Angela, would be start going around your neighborhood, introduce yourself as the local market expert. Let your neighbors know that not only are you a neighbor, but you are also a professional real estate agent. And you are building a real estate business through relationships, repeat and referral business. Ask them if they knew of anybody. Here's the question. If you were to sell your home, do you have a real estate agent you would hire? That's the question. If you were to sell your home, do you have a real estate agent that you would hire? Most are going to say no. If they say yes, I want you to respond with, that's awesome. Just out of curiosity, what's their name? Now, when they can't tell you the name, then they don't have anybody. Okay.
Okay.
So the next thing you're going to say is, I would have loved to apply for the opportunity to work with you in the future. That simply means that I would love to send you interesting information on the real estate market and check in with you maybe every 2 or 3 months just to see if you have any questions and see if there's anything I can do. Would it be okay if I added you to that group?
Okay.
All right. Now, Angela, you're building a habit. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a day and a time that you are time blocking to go knock on doors. In other words, every Tuesday from 10 to 11, I knock on doors. And ignore the results. In other words, for the first 60 days, who cares if anybody responds in a positive way? Doesn't matter. What matters is you're creating that habit. Now, 90 days later, 6 months later, you're doing deals. You're doing deals because you've created this habit of knocking on doors every Tuesday from 10 to 11. Obviously, you're going to go to other neighborhoods and do this as well. All right. And you're trying to build a successful real estate career. You're not trying to have a great week. Focus on your career, not the week. Real estate agents way overestimate what they can achieve in a month and way underestimate what they can achieve in the year or achieve in the next 5 years.
I'm having this is going to be a big like challenge for me to get out there and do it, because I see myself as this like solicitor, and oh gosh, here comes that girl. So how do I get that out of my head?
Okay, so you set the goal that puts you in the direction you want to go. I want to sell 12 homes in 2024. Awesome. The next thing you do is you create a strategy in order to achieve the goal. In other words, what's the action plan? The next thing you do is you create a habit, a daily habit of doing those activities that lead to the result. Now, here's the thing. If your identity, how you see yourself, doesn't line up with the activities, you won't do it. You have to change the way you look at yourself, Angela. You have to change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You have to be able to see yourself as somebody who is providing value and service, not someone who's trying to sell something.
Okay.
All right. It's going to be uncomfortable, but so is going to the gym every day. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, oh boy, I can't wait to go to the gym. But nobody that went to the gym ever regrets the fact that they did. All right. Motivation doesn't happen before you do something. Motivation happens after you do it. If you wait until you're motivated, you're never going to do it.
Okay.
Can I pop in real quick?
Do it, Beth.
I love knocking on doors. It's one of my main things, Angela. And sometimes you feel like you have to give them something, and I think that's what you're looking for. Like, why am I knocking on your door besides telling you that I'm your local agent, you know, an economist of choice? I usually print up a market analysis, just a small one for the neighborhood, and it's just a random CMA. And that's something you could just hand them too, and a little bit about yourself and whatnot. But if you feel like you want to give them something, that could be
Okay.
an option. And if you need help with that, I can help you with that too.
Yeah.
Great, thank
Love
you.
it. All right, great work, everybody. I'm gonna hit stop record.